Probably helps if I minimize this the first time around. And we'll minimize that too. Alrighty, guys. Hey, welcome to Northwestern Maine here in the Carrabassett Valley. I am your host, Boeing Fan 727. Today we're going to be diving into another good building session for the Carrabassett Valley Railroad. Now, what you're looking at here is the official logo for the Carrabassett Valley, created by somebody on the Trainz forums, Southern 1581, I believe. He's actually going through and creating something that I think you guys are going to enjoy, just like myself. I got two files up here. It's just a couple screenshots. You probably already know what's going on, but he has created a couple of skins for me for the fleet, and he's going to be doing each and every single numbered train that we have. He's currently working on the GP50. Now, this is phase one. This was what the Carrabassett Valley Railroad looked like when we first started. Very nice. I chose the coloring, very inspired by my local public works trucks back home in Saco, Maine. Now public works trucks are basically trucks owned by the city, in case you don't know, that go out and perform public jobs such as park beautification. They go out and in my town they'll do a Christmas tree pickup. You know, if you leave your Christmas tree out on the curb, they'll come pick it up and it'll be turned into wood chips, be recycled. Numerous other different tasks. I mean, go out and fix some city water pipes, or just basic maintenance throughout the city for city-owned stuff. But the trucks normally for public works are like orange, or maybe like a red or a white or something along those lines. Well, my city's trucks are slate blue. They are this color, and actually the newer trucks are just a little bit darker than this, but they are a slate blue, which I have never seen anywhere else, but that's where I got inspired by the color, because I've always found it to be a very sophisticated color, very, what are the words I'm looking for? Of course, I had these earlier, but they're very professional looking, very sleek, very modern, and I thought it would look good on an engine, because predominantly people, when, they're thinking, all right, well, what am I going to paint my railroad? Well, orange and black, or maybe like a just maybe like a blue of some sort or something along those lines. Well, I mean, this is a blue, but predominantly people go with like a black or orange or something along those lines, or like a red or a silver. Or, I never really seen anyone do a slate blue, so I opted to choose the color slate blue. And of course, he created the official logo for Carrabassett Valley Railroad. Now, like I said, this is just phase one. This is phase one of the railroad. We have a phase two engine, which is all our new paint jobs. So, and this is what phase two is going to look like. And you can see the difference right here. I love phase two. Phase two is absolutely beautiful. This was the original idea that I had expressed that I wanted to him. I wanted these white stripes coming down the side, kind of like Central Maine and Quebec Railway. They have these white stripes off the hood, which I don't know where I put the photo. Might be in my trash, but I don't want to go digging through that. But yeah, they have these white stripes and have the logo on the hood, which I was very much inspired by Central Maine, Northern Quebec, which also they're kind of a bluish paint job too. But so, like I said, he's created this beautiful livery for me, or skin, for the Carrabassett Valley, as well as this logo. This logo was the idea was mine. I expressed to him what I want. Carrabassett Valley derives from Maine and Central. We were, obviously a fictional line. We were the Valley Division. There's the Mountain Division. This is the Valley Division. So I was inspired. Central Maine's logo was a pine tree. They had a pine tree, so I wanted a pine tree to be included in the Carrabassett Valley logo. We got 3 pine trees here, which I kind of find unique. One for the 3 yards, so one could be for it. And I kind of didn't realize that, but that's actually kind of poignant in my mind now. It's Eustis, Lac-Mégantic, and probably Madison, Maine. So a tree for each major point on the railroad, which is kind of cool actually. Now that I think about it. And then I wanted a green circle to border the outside with the name of the railroad, Carrabassett Valley, to be there as well. So big thanks to Southern 1581. He should be coming out with probably the rest of the the division's fleet. We had to readjust it a little bit. Originally, I had opted to the fleet I opted to choose was the EMD F7A and B, the EMD GP15-1. I'd also chose the EMD SW1200, the GEC 30-7, the GE U18B, and the MLW RS18U. Unfortunately, we really couldn't find a decent what is it, a blank file for the GEC 30 or the 1200, and those are the better looking ones are by jointed rail, and they're kind of hard to get. Oops, not what I wanted to do. They're kind of hard to get permission to repaint. So instead, we just opted to go ahead and decide to readjust the fleet a little bit. So we're using the EMD 1500 now. And the GEC 30 has been replaced by the GP 38, Dave Snow's engines, which is, he's also made the U18, the GP 15, he made a GP 38. And I think we're looking to find a Alco RS3, which Main Central used in their fleet. So some ex-Main Central Alco RS3s. But as it is now, that's the fleet. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I don't know what you guys saw last time in the episode. I don't know if you guys saw, or in the last stream, I don't know if you guys saw Flagstaff Yard's completion, but I'll just go back and show you guys Flagstaff Yard on the off chance. It's been a while since my last live stream. I do apologize for that. New work schedule came out, so I have been uber busy. It's been my first day off in over a week, so... And boy, has it been a long work week. I went to work Saturday, last day of the old schedule. I came to work about, oh god, the lag is horrible. I came to work about, God, I think probably 3:30 or about 2:40 in the afternoon. I got off work about midnight. I had to be back at work for 4:45, so I just ended up staying there because it would have been too long of a drive to go home. So I stayed at work, worked a 4:45 to 1:15 shift. The new schedule came out. I had to be to work at 1:45 to 10:15. So by the time I got home, it was about 11:30 or around that ballpark. And I didn't go to bed till about 1. So yeah, and I didn't sleep the night before my double. So yeah, it was a long weekend, and I was definitely very, very tired, very sore. It is laggy beyond laggy. Holy crap. So, but yeah, so we're just taking you down the line here. Oh, I think last episode reworked the tunnel. I've been looking for a new tunnel. One with just one track. Kind of fits the area a little better. I don't know if this really fits. I'll wait and see once we get trees in, but I'll wait and see. But, so yeah, so like I said, been very busy. Been just working my butt off. So, just trying to survive. But work week's over. I got Tuesday, Wednesday off. It's 84 degrees outside, so this live stream isn't going to be long because I do want to get outside and I do have some things to be done this week. Let's see. In other news in my life, not next week, but the week after. So 2 weeks from 2 weeks from yesterday, I will not be home. So 2 weeks from now, there will not be a live stream. So next week, I'll make sure to get you guys a extra long live stream just to get you guys through because I will be in Kansas the week of the 22nd. I'll be in Kansas the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And then when I come back, it's back to work until the end of May. So that being said, don't expect an episode 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I'm going to Kansas with my girlfriend to go see her aunt. We're going to go out and just kind of reconnect with nature, go fishing, all that great stuff, all that great rural Kansas stuff. We're going to have a fish fry, and we're just gonna disconnect, from technology and just get away from Illinois and Missouri. So it's about a 4-hour drive from here, and I've never been to Kansas, so yeah, for bend. So I'm actually pretty excited. Definitely not one of the states high up on my list to go to. It was like, let's just go to Kansas. Okay, Kansas, sure. Why the heck not? So, but all right. So here we are in Flagstaff Yard. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not yet. Like I said, I really don't think any of you have seen Flagstaff Yard. It's kind of divided up into two sections. It runs for about a mile and a half, which I'm kind of not happy with it being that long. But so we come over here to this is kind of the entrance to the yard, because you know this is the southern terminus. This is the southernmost terminus of the line. So we've actually reached a terminating point for the Carrabassett Valley Railroad, which is actually pretty cool. That means we have two more terminating points to reach before we can finally say we're predominantly done with mainline track laying. Now, this being the entrance point over here, this is the entrance to the yard. I have actually been working a lot with mile marker posts. So I have oh, don't tell me. Please tell me you have something written on you. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it's not showing, but I have these mile markers all along the line, and I've gone from here, which is the technical end or the beginning of the yard. So this is the beginning numbered point for the line. About 24 miles. I did 24 miles of numbered track, which took a long time. So this is the entrance to the yard. A little sign right there, Flagstaff Yard. Little crossovers right here. So the right side here is a staging point for trains. It's where trains pull in to be taken apart, put together. I forget maybe arrival and departure tracks. Kind of don't really know the name too well. So these are arrival and departure tracks right here. This is, like I said, just where trains come in to be taken apart and put together. Over to the left is an engine service area, or for all our engine needs. We have our main service facility for the engines. This is 6 bays. You can fit quite a few trains in there, but this is where all our trains come to be serviced. Both Guilford, Central Maine, Canadian National, and Carrabassett Valley. Main refueling point over here, right here. Sanding, fuel, all that great stuff. Then we just have some, just kind of siding tracks for just engines to be parked upon right now. Have one of our yard-based units, this MLW. I forget the specific name for the things like the RSA1, RS something 1. RS18. So I got the 1. RS18U. And I like this little engine. It's a fun little engine to drive around in. So we got a couple of these running around, but yeah, that's parked here as well. And then we got some maintenance of way cars, which I'm probably going to try and find a new location for those, because they're kind of parked right here, and we got a small car repair facility. Which, oh, by the way, I did get my center beams, the jointed rail center beams fixed, so I do have the jointed rail center beam cars working now. So, but yeah, so this is kind of just the beginning of Flagstaff Yard, and if we come back here, come around this large bend, we come up to the classification portion of the yard. I've kind of looked it up, and I've gotten a general understanding of what a classification yard is, and from what I've understood, it's just a large area of where cars just get parked and kind of classified by industry or car type, or what the contents of that car will be, like coal, gases, maybe gasoline, or some sort of liquid of some sort, some hazardous material, flammable liquids. And then we got box cars, maybe some auto racks, and then I've opted to change out those flat cars because they really were kind of buggy with the containers on them. I don't know what's wrong with those flat cars, but when I was playing around with them in driver mode, I'd uncouple and then recouple to them. And every time I'd uncouple and then come back, it's like you would, even though you would relieve the brake pressure, you would turn off the brakes. I wouldn't be able to pull them with 1 engine, 2 engine, 3 engines, 4 engines. I actually connected 17 engines up to probably a 13 flat car consist, maxed out the throttle before the wheels would start slipping, and I still couldn't pull them. So, gone with these well cars. We're just going to have one basic container in each well car because that's pretty much all you're going to see. But it's nice because I can get 53-foot containers. I can get two 20-foot containers. I can get a 48-foot, 45-foot, 140-foot. So we will have well cars. I think someone mentioned that last episode that they want to see some double stacks. We're not going to have double stacks, but we will have these. We'll have these well cars. Also found these high cubes that I really like. They come default with just recycled paper, which is kind of cool. So I have these recycled paper high cubes that are going to be going up to Snappy Paper Mill. So we're going to see a lot of these high cubes on the line. And then it's kind of buggy still, but I have just these HVPI and kind of HS box Carson joint rail. When I add, actually I don't want to add it here, but when I add another kind of product to the car, every time I hook up to it, I get a little red error every time I connect and then disconnect. And then when I leave Trainz and comes back, it just has these two, and I can't re-add that particular product unless I delete the car and then re-add it. So I think it's a little bug with these joint rail cars, but oh well. So, like I said, this is the southernmost terminus point. This is where we get our CSX, and I think this is where we get some of our PPLX coal cars, as well as some Norfolk Southern coal cars. So all the coal cars coming up from everywhere else in America come up through here, and then the other part of our line, Lac-Méganic, will have the CN rotary dump coal cars, which I was playing a lot with yesterday. So, and then I'm also, thanks to another person, because like I said, I am on the Trainz forum now. I will be posting screenshots of the progress with the Carrabassett Valley during times I can't stream. So if you want to follow more progress with the Carrabassett Valley, I linked the forum post or the forum page down below for the CBVR. So if you want to go follow the progress and just chat and meet some people and just kind of get some sneak previews before a live stream, definitely go there, because that's where I'll be announcing everything and showing everything off before I come here and stream. It's just a whole lot easier. But someone did mention, and I wonder if it's downloaded now. Ooh, look, the Pullmans. Good. I gotta find it real quick. Dang it. Means I gotta re-download that. But basically, a heritage engine goes back and forth. Oh wow. So I just downloaded these, so just kind of looking at them, and not terrible, but not the best either. That's all right. It'll do. Alrighty then. But yeah, it's like a heritage unit, like a heritage passenger service, or it's a heritage unit. And I figured, you know what, we could have limited passenger service, and then even in the backstory for the rail line, we did have some limited passenger service in the summertime from Lac-Méganic to coastal Maine, all the way down to Portland. So in theory, this is the old Eustis Railroad Station. Eustis Train Terminal. Way back in the day when the Carrabassett Valley was Main and Central. This is where people would come to enter Carrabassett Valley or go hiking or go to Flagstaff Lake. This was a big, in my mind, for the railroad, this was a big destination for people to come back in the early days, back in the glory days of the Carrabassett Valley Railroad, before they went defunct and then went through a bad recession and then came back. I actually did type up a whole big spiel, the backstory for the Carrabassett Valley Railroad. In case you guys want to go see it or read it and just kind of get a better understanding for the line, you can head over to the Trainz forum page, or I can read it here, whatever you want. I don't really think anyone's listening or watching. I think it's just me. So, yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and read that for now while we're getting ready to work here. me see. Let me see. Where is my post? Alrighty, so we're just gonna kind of work around here. So before I start reading the backstory and before I start getting to work, so the idea today is, like I said, I'm not very happy with the length of Flagstaff Yard. I want to rework it real quick. So what I'm thinking of doing is, I know I placed all my engine services here, and it actually looks good for once. I actually did a good job in my mind, but I'm not liking it. What I'm thinking of doing is taking engine services and moving it over to the left more, and then putting the classification yard kind of right here alongside the main line. So everything's kind of in one central location, versus having it, everything kind of here, then having this long point to get to the classification yard. I just don't like it. So we're going to have this, and then we're going to have a small branch that leads into Eustis. We'll have one small branch that goes down into Eustis to reach a couple local industries, and then that'll be it for the southern portion of the line. So, sadly, that means I have to delete everything. So, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and try to start reading backstory to the line. Alrighty, so in the early 50s, the main central railroad expanded its reach from Madison, Maine to Carrabassett Valley to meet growing demands for the lumber industry. The line originally built ran exclusively from Madison to Eustis, Maine, but within 5 years of completion, a yard was built on the outskirts of the community and continued on to Rumford to further connection with the Maine Central. Reading and multitasking is not my thing, so I do apologize. But I figured this is kind of an interesting little blurb I wrote, and I want to share with you guys. By 1967, it was decided to extend the line to link up with Canadian operators. The linkage would allow for Canadian freight to come down into Maine and be taken all the way to Portland, be put on ships and sent worldwide. MEC, or MEC, would also capitalize on Maine's predominantly tourist-driven economy by operating seasonal passenger service from Lac-Mégantic to Portland via the Carrabassett division. In the late 70s, during the division's heyday, it serviced 2 paper mills, 5 logging camps, 3 scrap yards, 14 warehouses, 2 sawmills, Maine's sole coal mine, and a couple of quarries. Operations were kept at 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except for Sunday mornings in the region. It was not until 1981, when Guilford Rail Systems acquired Maine Central, did things begin to change for the division. The acquisition of MEC for Guilford was far from smooth on Carrabassett's end. Hold on, someone is out in the living room. I'm trying to determine who it is while I continue working here. I think it's my girlfriend's mom. The railroad struggled so bad that they barely could turn a profit. Guilford's early history was met with abandonments, labor unrest, and strikes, and a horrible management style that would ultimately bring near death to the Carrabassett division. Guilford began eliminating marginal, low-density routes like the Mountain Division, the Calais branch, and the Rockland branch. These routes were... Is she calling my name? I think she is. These historic divisions were all chopped from Guilford's service. Even a 16-mile stretch of track in the Carrabassett division running from Lac-Mégantic to Winston, Maine. Oh yeah, that's right, that's what I also changed. From Winston, Maine, was abandoned as the railroad only ran twice a week from Lac-Mégantic to Eustis. By 1991, industries along the Carrabassett division began closing their doors due to part of the recession in the 1990s. In 1993, the line fell into disrepair and was limited entirely to a 10-mile-per-hour speed limit. This further slowed the effectiveness by shipping through the railroad, and most industries turned to truck to ship their products. But being in northwestern Maine proved that to be difficult for some businesses. In 1995, the line itself was deemed a branch after the Salmon Lake paper mill closed, and it was only serviced a few times a week via Rumford. A GP7 and Alco RS3, still in Met colors, were based at the Carrabassett yard just a few miles northeast of Winston, Maine. Yeah, scroll up. These engines service Sappy North Paper Mill and a local scrap dealer in Winston. The yard in Eustis was abandoned as there wasn't any need for it anymore, and thus the Carrabassett hit rock bottom. The turn of the century did not bring much to the table for the former bustling division. In 2003, the Salmon Lake branch, the former line for the Salmon Lake paper mill, was ripped up after the abandoned mill burnt down. In 2006, Guilford rebranded to Pan American Railways and sold the line to the Maine Department of Transportation. In the spring of 2007, a task force was sent out by the Maine Department of Transportation to determine the condition of the new acquisition. It was determined upon first look that the line was unfit for operation and was closed for safety reasons. Pan Am was asked to assist in the repairs that needed to be made to the line. It was agreed that Pan Am would be fitting most of the bills since they were the cause of the line's poor condition. They would also be required to perform most of the repairs if they intended to continue using the line. Pan Am agreed. It took 4 years, another recession, and a lawsuit from the Maine DOT before restoration was complete. In 2012, however, a group of investors began to take massive interest into the region. New industries were beginning to pop up within Carrabassett Valley. Despite Maine having very little in terms of coal, a large pocket of natural resources was discovered outside Winston, Maine at a former coal facility. A new group, the Maine Farmers and Agricultural Group, was formed and based in Winston, Maine. The warehouse ships locally grown blueberries and milk from the local dairy. An interest to link freight from Pan American Railway to central Maine, northern Quebec, and Lake Magenic was shown by these investors. Even though CMQR had links to coastal Maine, this link from Eustis to Lake Magenic would provide quicker route from Rigby Yard to Canadian points. In 2013, it was announced that the Carrabassett Valley Railroad would be formed and would begin operations as soon as possible. The CBVR faced many delays beginning operations due to the condition Pan American left most of the line, and despite repairs made a few years prior. The line needed to be restored to a 35-mile-per-hour or better operating condition to allow for greater efficiency on the line. Also, the yards in Eustis, Carrabassett, and Lake Magenic would need to be repaired and improved for operations. The Maine DOT and several banks around the state approved grants to help fuel this project. As of today, CBVR has restored and renamed Eustis Yard to Flagstaff Yard after Flagstaff Lake in Eustis. The yard is the central operating point for all operations along the CBVR. Carrabassett Yard was refurbished, and now 2 industries inhabit the facility as well. Lake Magenic's yard sits outside the community in Frontenac. The CBVR will continue to work hand in hand with CMQR and Pan American and further connect Maine's rail to all of Canada. That was hard because I am not much of a reader. I'm a writer, but I'm not a reader, and I'm multitasking, which is horrible. So that is ultimately the history of this railroad, in a sense. Sorry, my reading was a little bit smoother, and sorry I couldn't work as quickly because I'm trying to read, and do stuff. So now comes the fun part. We are now demolishing the track. But so yeah, like I said, that's the history of the central Maine, or I'm sorry, not the central Maine, northern Quebec. It's not even northern, it's just central Maine and Quebec. But the Carrabassett Valley. It is hot in this room. I need to turn on the fan. It is warm. Like, normally it doesn't bother me, but it is warm today. Much better. So yeah, like I said, that's the short, brief version. In a sense, it just gives you a better understanding and appreciation for the line, and it gives you a more what's the word I'm looking for? It just gives you a better understanding of things that go on around the line and whatnot. So it just kind of provides you with that little extra bit of history that maybe you cared to know about, maybe you didn't. I don't know, but there it is. So we're gonna move this building. Be more up here. Alrighty, so I'm going to move all these buildings off to the side. I don't want to delete them completely, but as I'm still going to use them and I'm going to need them to still be here. But yeah, like I said, I did post in my forum that when I finished Flagstaff Yard, and you know, people, I guess people liked the layout, but the layout always bothered me because just of how unrealistic it is, or how unrealistic it. What the heck happened here? Oh, did I delete something I shouldn't have deleted? Yes, I did. I say, what in the world happened right there? But so, and I was not happy. It was too long. I don't want to say it was too big, but it did not fit something you would see in northwestern Maine. It did not fit at all. So it seemed better to go ahead and just edit it and delete it and retry again. Kind of two very major points of the yard, but I think it's key in my mind to get these areas looking right and get the yard to kind of fit the area. You know, I don't want to fit the area around a yard. I want the yard to fit the area. And I have been looking at a lot of photos of this portion of Maine, and I could tell you for one thing, it did not fit the area at all. So now here comes the fun part, because I suck at making yards, so you're all going to see the horrible process of me trying to do this. And I apologize for that. I apologize if this caused you to scream at your computer, maybe bash your computer a little bit. I do apologize. You know, you might be sitting here thinking, what an idiot, but I really suck at building yards. This is honestly my weak point when it comes to trains. I can make great crossings. I can make good grades. I can make, you know, very, I think, okay-ish looking scenery. But when it comes to yards, I flat out suck. So I do want to give the spacing between the tracks a little room, maybe for like a small little service road or something like that, you know, for people to begin in. I don't want them to be right up against each other. So I'm thinking probably leaving maybe a track's length space in between each track. I think it's probably a good idea. Maybe like a tile. So we're going to move this to the center of the tile. And probably have a tile and then, or half a tile. We'll probably go half a tile. Yeah, that's probably better. It's just when I make a yard, I mean, I get the tracks pretty close to each other. But I guess in terms of where you're going to be putting your cars, you probably want a little room just in case you need to. I don't know what you're going to be doing, but just on the off chance you need some extra room for something, well, guess what? Here you go. Move that down just a little bit. But yeah, so I hope you guys are having a good start to your May. I haven't live streamed at all this month. So hope you all are having a good May so far. I mean, it's too early to kind of really determine how the month's going for you. But, you know, otherwise, I kind of hope, you know, you guys are doing all right. Hope that everything's going well. Hope you're enjoying, maybe the weather. I don't know how the weather is up where you guys are watching, but hope it's all right. Hope it hasn't been like St. Louis a couple weeks ago. It literally rained for 3 straight days and then 2 straight days, so a total of 5 days, and it just poured all day on every one of those days. Mississippi River rose so much, and the Merrimack River in the region, that rose substantially high. I mean, flooding has been a huge issue out here. It's been the talk of the towns, so it's been a nightmare out here. And we're getting more rain tomorrow. Wouldn't you know? So yeah, we're getting more rain tomorrow and Thursday, and the rivers have kind of started to go down, which sucks for the communities that are still underwater. You know, there are people's houses that are still submerged, and well, damn, 82 degrees and sunny in Alabama. It's 84 here. Beautiful. I haven't been outside yet. A little windy. I'm gonna get out there probably another hour from now or a half hour from now. I gotta go get my power steering pump fixed on my car. Because we're taking that to Kansas, and it seems like whenever I let it sit for, just whenever I go to work and come back to my car at night, yeah, power steering is just a little stiff, and I've checked the fluid. Fluid's fine. I don't see any leaks. I'm not leaking any power steering fluid, so the only really thing I can determine is a power steering pump, which, you know, car's been good to me. Car's been good to me. I haven't had a problem with it yet, or well, not yet, but I haven't had a problem with it in a while. You know, I really haven't done anything. Last thing I did was transmission. Getting these weird calls all day. Sorry, got a phone call. Got a call from Savannah, Georgia. Now I got a call from Union City, Tennessee. And I looked at and the funny thing is, I know it's a scam because I listened to the first voicemail, and it was telling me that I would have these allegations placed against my name. It's this robotic call or whatever. It's this basically robo voice machine talking to me, and it's basically telling me that I have these allegations placed against me. It's not saying what, but it's saying something along the lines with a tax, you know, my tax return, which I've already received. I need to call this number within the next 24 hours, and my tax will be held, and they're gonna call the cops, which the machine pronounced copes. They're gonna call the copes on me, and then I might have to pay some cash, whatever. Yeah, it's from this Savannah, Georgia number, and basically it's like, ain't the first time I've been scammed. I tried selling a car on Craigslist, and let me tell you, that was definitely a learning experience for me. And it was actually, I wouldn't say nice, definitely annoying, because I'm trying to sell a car and I keep getting all these scammers trying to hurt me financially, and it's just like, yeah, no, yeah, just, it doesn't take a genius to figure out scams, but it just sucks because you hear about all these, and I don't want to just say it's always old people, but you hear about these older folks that, you know, have grown up in a different time period, and, you know, are, you know, that they believe this stuff because, you know, they believe the world is still good, and it just sucks. But yeah, no, it's just feel bad. All these scams going around, and they mostly hit, you know, these old people that have worked all their life for their money, and now they I want to say sometimes get it all taken away, but, you know, lose their money because somebody else who has, you know, never made an honest living in their life is preying upon their kind heart and their good, you know, their good thinking. But yeah, I left a voicemail. Wonder what it could say. Yep, it's them again. The Internal Revenue Services. Uh-huh. Load of baloney, that's all I'll say. Load of baloney. Been outside the mow the grass, been inside working most of the day. Yeah, no, I got home last night, and I've been still beat up since the weekend, so I just took today to sleep in. But I want to get outside because, like I said, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Thunderstorm mostly, which I'd go for a good thunderstorm and not have to work outside in it. But no, I want to get outside today because it's too nice, and I got some music I want to listen to in my car today. So I think a good drive down to my girlfriend's dad's station will do me well, so I can get some good music in today. But so let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 tracks. I just don't, and this is where I kind of get into trouble with myself, is I don't know how many tracks I need specifically for a classification yard. You know, I don't want to give myself too much to the point where it's like some of my tracks are never being used, but I don't want to short myself some tracks where I'm struggling to fit all my fit everything in. But at the same time, it's like this is honestly where I struggle a bit, is trying to figure out how many tracks. And I mean, 7 tracks. I mean, coal probably on 1 track. I mean, because we do get a fair amount of coal cars. Box cars probably get 2 tracks. Gases and chemicals could probably also receive 2 tracks. Center beams. It's only 6 tracks. Well, you know what? I think I'll place 1 more track and we'll call it good. Yeah, Alabama and Southeastern. Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. Might download that because I've been looking for a good line, and just in a region that I never really have desired to maybe build or venture into on Trainz, because me being up from Maine in the Northeast, I look for I'm looking for some Portland division lines, anything around Massachusetts, and I'm not really a fan of the Northeast corridor, but even the Northeast corridor, I guess I wouldn't mind having around. But and living out in St. Louis, Illinois-based routes, and stuff up in Chicago, but Alabama never really, I wouldn't say cared, but never really had the temptation to download a good Southeast line. So I think I'll give that a try later. I'll download that and start operating it. And it has its own engine units, I believe I saw. So be nice. I can actually download a route and have all the specific engines for that particular line. Alright, so that looks roughly alright. A little curved. But so I guess we'll drag it out. I want them to be kind of, I don't want to say long or big, but give enough space to have stuff to be able to be stored here. So that's roughly the length of the Probably drag it out a little further. Yeah, I've never been able to really work out a good yard. This is in theory where a lot of freight is going to come through for the railroad. This is where Pan American meets up with us, and we have freight coming down from Canada, going into Lac Méganic and hooking up with the Central Maine and Quebec and Canadian Northern, maybe Canadian Pacific. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out later. But this is oh, that's 1 yard. Oh wow, damn. You're making me feel like I don't. This yard is just puny. But again, this is northwestern Maine. We really don't need a yard the size of Texas here or Alabama. So we'll drag these out. Probably to here. Sorry, I let it running around. All right, yeah, those are touching, so we'll have to go back and edit that real quick. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that I probably didn't have a problem with having this line being, you know, about 1.5 miles, you know, and stretched the length it did. But in my mind, it just didn't look right, you know, to have the lard be kind of long and narrow like that, and you know, have the storage facility all the way over there, and have it, you know, where you're going to be hooking your trains up all the way over here. Just didn't really make a whole lot of sense in my mind, and it didn't look right, you know. And I gonna just hop up here real quick, just kind of show you something. But this is a Carrabassett yard up here in Winston, Maine, formerly Watson, or what was it? Warren, Maine, formerly Warren, Maine. This yard used to actually be about, I think there were 8 tracks on this side. There were about 10 or 11 tracks on this side, with a huge engine service facility. And this is only 18 miles north of the main or Flagstaff yard, or about 17 miles. I actually think this yard sits on a mile marker. Yeah, I got mile markers right here. So this is like mile 17, of course, if the mile markers would actually work. I'll have to check driver mode later. Yeah, mile 17. It's only 17 miles north of the main yard. Kind of felt it was unrealistic to have that large of a yard, but you know, reworked it, made it a lot smaller, kind of fit the area a little bit, and it really only was for local Winston industries, and these 2 industries right here. So, you know, it just felt right in my mind to make it like this. So, and then of course come back down here, and here's the town of Winston. There's the coal mine down there, just for your viewing pleasure. There's the town of Winston. But we'll pop back up to Flagstaff. Yeah, it's gonna cover about four base plates, and that's fine with me. You know, that's about. Oh, thank you. I was actually was able to base it off of a real yard out here in Illinois called oh, great, lovely. Alrighty then. So that just happened. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Now we get to see where my game auto-saved. Oh, I love this. Love it, love it, love it, love it. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, yeah, no, I based it off of a real rail yard out here in Illinois on the, I think it's the Hamel subdivision, called Chateau Yard, or Shoto Yard as some people call it. But, yeah, no, totally some fun stuff. Oh, great. I got 2 now. Rogers Pass and Columbia River Basin. I wasn't so broke I'd buy them, but I hate to see where this thing auto-saved, but you know, and that's the thing, it hasn't done that in a while. Very weird. Very, very weird. But, alright, so hopefully it saved some of my progress, because I think I've set it to where it auto-saves every 30 minutes. So hopefully it was over 30 minutes for my prior autosave, or close to 30 minutes, or a little bit after 30 minutes. Because if not, I have to go back and redo that whole thing. So, alright, so we're here. Alright, well, it's not too far back, I guess, but... Yeah, no, I mean, I just let it save and whatnot, and I don't want to have to keep saving, but... Yeah, I probably should start saving, especially when I got the tracks all the way down to there, right where I wanted them. But, all that makes me wonder. Does milepost showing their miles yet? Yep. So I think that was the problem. The game didn't do something correct or something along those lines. But yeah, there's the mileposts. So, alright, well. Huh. Oh well. Well, at least it actually saved right here versus having the yard still intact and whatnot. But, yeah. Joy. Well, I also downloaded stuff from... I want to check real quick and see if they were here. I downloaded some stuff earlier today when I was looking at the... when I was looking at the Trainz NS Rails website. I just want to make sure they got in here okay. I downloaded some gondolas, I think. I downloaded a gondola pack. I know I did. Just wanted to see if they're in here. Yeah, we'll have to... They do this, but... yeah, my good friend of mine approached Medium. He showed me how to... when I download assets like that, he showed me how to get them to... into Trainz. Basically, you go into... Content Manager, which I didn't know. You know, I'm very, still new to Trainz and whatnot, but he showed me just going to the Content Manager. No, I don't want to do that. And just download them. And then they'll download all the assets that you need into Trainz. So, well, I figured always good to have some extra cars running around, and I figured I'd give the gondolas a go, but can't check them out right yet, so I'll have to download them while I'm off and about. But as I was going to say, though, real quick, I have been talking about the fact that I do need a new computer, and I really can't get one because I mean they're not cheap. You know, they're affordable. You can definitely buy one relatively easier than you could maybe 10, 15 years ago. I will let you know, but yeah, no, that I'm always looking for some gondolas because I'm building. Is it here in Eustis that I'm building it? I think I'm building a scrap facility to be taken up into Canada to a steel plant, and all that scrap metal is gonna be taken up into Canada. So I need some good gondolas online. Don't necessarily think that the CBVR is gonna own some. We mostly do box cars and center beams and whatnot, but and I don't think Pan American has any either. But hell, I think the only good Pan American car I have is this box car from Jointed Rail. The only good Pan American car I have, and I think it's the only Pan American car that they have painted up in their colors. But don't even have Guilford box cars that look that good. So, but definitely, despite the age, I still need some gondolas and whatnot. And I did see ACF, yeah, Norfolk Southern, CR, yeah, pretty much, and then WC. Don't know what WC is, but Norfolk Southern. I need some good Norfolk Southern gondolas, and like I said, I can't see them, so I'll have to read down them later. But I mean, despite the age, probably still good. More than likely, probably still good. So, Wisconsin Central. I'm like, it's not. Just trying to think, like, it's a W. It's a W. Know that for sure, but what W? It's not Wyoming. Wisconsin. Wisconsin Central. I work with a guy from Wisconsin, and he sounds exactly like you think someone from Wisconsin would. Yeah, I work with a guy from... Yeah, I have some of their gondolas. What is that? Oh, yeah. I think that's what I downloaded too earlier. The Mark. That doesn't look half bad. I'll tell you what. Is there a person? Come back. I need to see the person. Yep, just the lady. The only lady in the car. Yeah, I downloaded some of their gondolas. If I can just figure out where I put it. Yeah, I think that's part of it. It's not a bad gondola, but it only holds a couple specific industries. And I think there's a separate pack I have to download for more loads to put in here. But yeah, I got some of their gondolas. I just never really use them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I have just 6 tracks, or did I have the 7th track? I think I had a 7th track. This is what happens when the game quits. You lose what you were doing. Yeah, most of my cars now come from jointed rail. That's just about all I use now is anything from jointed rail. Just sucks they have strict repaint policies. Because I mean, their content is, you know, cream of the crop in my mind. So, but understandably, you know, I guess they got to be stricter. Well, they don't really have to be, but don't really has to be strict. But it's whatever they want, I guess. Their rules, their content, their rules. Alrighty, so 7 tracks is fine. We're gonna drag them out again. Drag them up here. I think here will be more than sufficient. Well, I mean, I took a look last night at the ones they have kits for, and I mean, it's still a decent amount of content and whatnot. You know, they still have, you know, basically everything you need. It's just, it sucks in terms of engines and whatnot, because there's so much, you know, you could do, you know, especially in what I'm looking for. You know, I'm always looking for some good Pan American content on engines and whatnot, and kind of everything that you would need for some good Pan American engines is pretty much restricted, so it really kind of sucks. But again, it is what it is. It's their content, so can't argue with them. It's a whatever thing, but so yeah, I've learned my lesson. We're gonna drag these tracks up, and then we're gonna save, so I don't have to do this again, because I don't want to do this again. And if I have to do it again, I'm gonna quit for the day, and I'll just come back later on my own time. Gonna move this station out of the way too. Figure out where I'm gonna put it. Probably, I don't know. I'm gonna put it somewhere though. Could probably put it down in town, but I don't think I really want to. Oh yeah, what I was saying, computers. No, you weren't supposed to do that. So, like I said, I really can't afford one, but my girlfriend has been kind of understanding that I really am unable to use a lot of the games that I have on my laptop. You know, my flight simulator, I can't even smoothly run that anymore. And she used to get, I wouldn't say mad at me, but she'd get kind of a little frustrated because I would tell her I'd be flying in my flight sim and have about an hour to go until I get to my destination. And it would take about an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know, to get there, even though my flight sim would say 1 hour on the FM, the flight management computer. It's just because it was so laggy and so slow that even though I was technically an hour from my destination, the lag added so much more time onto the journey that flying anywhere would almost be, I wouldn't say double the time, but it would take a substantially longer amount of time to get there, which sucks because, you know, I love flight simming. And now the new flight sim, it's like the graphics are so much better, but my Mac is just not able to handle them unless, you know, I can't even have night lighting on if I'm to put the sim at the settings that my computer is able to run them. And even at lowest low settings, I really can't run the sim, which sucks because, you know, given my work field and given my interests and given the fact that I'm still trying to become a pilot, you know, I don't need the flight sim, but it's definitely something I love to use and love to have, and it just sucks. So, and she bought me a game for my birthday. You might know of it, Emerge NYC. It's emergency, basically an emergency services simulator, fire, police, and or paramedics. And it's still in pre-alpha, and yeah, it's graphically enhanced ever since its initial release for pre-alpha. It's just my computer cannot handle its pre-alpha state anymore. You know, because it's so beautiful, but it's just so it's not optimized yet, and I can't use it. And she kind of, I wouldn't say took it personally. It's just something that she bought for me to use, something I've been waiting for to come out, and I can't even use it because my computer can't handle it. And she's kind of realized that, and so she kind of felt bad. So she's gonna maybe look into it with me and maybe see if you know, we can get me a computer. Not something super expensive, not definitely a dedicated gaming computer per terms, but something, you know, a desktop of some sorts, a PC, something I can upgrade if I wanted to, and we'll go from there. But I guess the issue with that arises is I'm going to have to figure out how to transfer this map over to that PC to make sure that I can still continue progress. I can always continue progress here on my Mac because it definitely gives me something to do at work. It's just I would like to get on the PC because HP NV17 laptop, i7 processor, 16 gigabyte RAM. Damn. Yeah, I got a Mac. Don't get me wrong, I like Mac. Now, the common misconception with Macs are, well, they have a great firewall. Yes and no. Macs have, I mean, yeah, Macs kind of have a good firewall, but the only reason why Mac's firewall works is because no one really uses Macs and viruses really aren't, you know, there's really no viruses for Macs. So Macs are almost impeccable in that sense, knock on wood, because nothing was really created to infect a Mac in a sense. So and that's kind of why I like Macs, because I don't really run a risk of getting a virus because, you know, I think it's what 5% of the PC, you know, the 5% of the world actually uses a Mac of some sort or something along those lines. And the other 5% are like Linux, and the rest are all, you know, PC. You know, and I find myself drifting towards the PC kingdom because that's, you know, really the only thing that works at this point for me is PC. So, or is going to work is PC. You know, what I need for what I want to do is probably a PC and something that, you know, I could upgrade the graphics card and upgrade this and pop open and do all that stuff, because you really can't pop open a Mac and interchange it because it's just not made for that kind of stuff. No, I didn't want to do that. You know, Macs really generally weren't made. I mean, like I said, I work for Southwest. I'm sure I could get some discounts somewhere. I could actually buy a computer through my company, but they just take the payment right on my paycheck every month, and I'd rather just pay one flat fee versus having my payment taken every month out of my paycheck, because, I would just prefer it that way. Just buying it and being done. I don't want payments on a computer, so. But so, like I said, yeah, we're probably gonna look into something. There's a few variables that go into it beforehand, but pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that's still a little steep on my end. Definitely something, maybe 700 and under. But yeah, no, we're definitely in the looking phase right now, and it's better than what I have been getting lately, because it's definitely been we need to be saving for a place of our own, and definitely very valid reason, because it's like, yeah, no, I'm looking to move out next year, and definitely need to be saving for that, because my savings hasn't been the best in the world, if really at all. So definitely need to be saving, but it's just nice to have her to be able to say, all right, well, I understand that this is what you do and this is what keeps you sane, because I bought her Sims 3 recently for her birthday, which is coming up here in a couple weeks. But, I bought her Sims 3 because she likes playing The Sims, and the only Sims she has is on the Wii downstairs, and it's not the best. What just happened here? I think I curved the wrong track. Yes, I did. So, but and she's been entertained thoroughly, very entertained, and and then I think she kind of realized that it's without Sim she wouldn't be as entertained as she would be. She'd be looking for something to do, and and that's kind of the category I'm falling into, is I'm looking for something to do. I just don't have anything to do because I mean, I have Trainz. I always have Trainz, and I love working on Trainz. I love doing what I'm doing. It's just I can only do this for so long without getting tired, because I can only build for so long and stay sane. In that sense, it's just, how long am I able to do this and keep going and be okay with it? And I will always come back to Trainz because I'm so committed into this project. It's just, every now and again I need a break, and every now and again it's like, I want to get in the flight sim, do a flight, do this and do that. I just can't anymore. My laptop will just. Yeah, I'm gonna drag those curves just a little bit further down. I'm just trying to get them in for right now. Probably something like this will do a little bit better. Yeah, it looks a little smoother. I think I have the same issue over here. Possibly. No, they're actually relatively smooth over here. I think it was actually the first classification yard I built that the curves were actually kind of sharp. So and over here, I think they're all right over here. Yeah, they're all right over here. I think maybe these ones might be a little sharp. They look all right. Content manager. Find your root, right click on it, and save it to CDP. Okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have to do that, because it's, when I get the new desktop, obviously I'm gonna want to transfer everything I have over to it, because X-Plane, this, that, and the whatnot, and gonna have to transfer everything over. It's just, most everything that I have will be easy to transfer over, because I can find the file, and it actually has a legitimate file to transfer. It's just with Trainz, it's not that it's not a legitimate file, it's just the fact that what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what I'm trying to look for. I think it's just the fact that, you know, this is a huge project and a lot of time has been invested into it, and I just want to make sure that during the transfer nothing gets, you know, broken or destroyed or deleted and lost or something. You know, it's a very big transfer to make, and you know, if something goes wrong or something, yeah, I'm gonna have to transfer everything individually. It's just, you know, I think if there's only one thing I'm gonna have to be transferring from Trainz, it's I'm sure I could it's gonna be finding all my assets to bring into, and I'm sure I could probably take the file that I have for all my download assets and just download them into Trainz just by dragging them into the content manager. I don't know specifically, but you know, I just kind of figure, you know, I can probably do something like that to where I have all my assets that I need. It's gonna be a long process, I can tell you that, but worth it in the end. But still got a ways to go before we even get there. I'm not even close to buying a computer. You know, not even close at all. But alrighty, so there's the classification yard. That track is weird. Perfect. So now the only thing that's needed is the engine service facility. Yeah, true. I mean, there are a lot of stuff that I don't use within this map that you know, I'm still gonna probably need, you know, future items that I'll probably need, but I think just for simplicity's sake, I'll probably just go ahead and download it in, and anything else that I need, I'll just go download on a later date. It's things like trains and train cars and whatnot, and other content that you know, I want to transfer in, stuff that I probably won't be. Probably, I think I have some stuff from Amtrak trains or that train group that I can't find them anymore. You know, I don't know where they're at. And might be easier. I don't know. Might be easier just to go ahead with the train cars and do it that way I'm talking about. But in terms of the route itself, yeah, probably easier. Or, you know, any rail cars that I need for this route, just place them in the route and let them download. All right, so for the service facility, or for the service area, probably thinking take the engine maintenance facility, kind of plop it right here. So we're going to plop it right there. I'm going to have this track kind of come along the side. So yeah, we'll have these kind of sets of 3 tracks along the side of this engine service facility. And I think this is where we'll park some of our trains. Kind of give it a little space too. Yeah, no, I think it'd be easier that way. I mean, I can find all the jointed rail content, no problem. RR mods, I can get all that stuff back. And I mean, I really only use the jointed rail content now. So it's almost pointless to have all the other stuff because I never use them. You know, I never really use that stuff anymore. I mean, there's maybe a select few cars that I might use. Like I downloaded what is it, the Allagash? Yeah, I downloaded these Allagash cars after I was watching some guys model railroad based up in the Allagash in northern Maine. I just downloaded these because I figured, well, it's another kind of fictitious Maine railroad, and it'd be nice to have in here. So I kind of really only use those. You know, maybe a couple of these Maine Central Box cars just to have them around, maybe just for extra Maine content. But other than that, I really never use them anymore. It's all jointed rail. You know, jointed rail has really dominated the scene. You know, and it's hard to be, I'd say, a third-party content maker and compete with Jointed Rail for everyone's downloads because Jointed Rail just blows everything out of the water. In a sense, anyways, but... Alright, here comes the fun part, hooking up all these tracks. But like I said, I will say Jointed Rail, they do a lot of the railroads from around the country, you know, and they did make a Guilford GP7, which I have and I love it. It's probably one of my favorite engines to drive. Only because of the fact you can turn it off and turn it on. But you know, and they have a a mech boxcar in the Pan American colors. But you know, out of all the railroads that they've made, they've never made an actual Pan American engine. They haven't done it yet. No one's done it yet. I have one. Yeah, no, I mean, if you don't hit that bar, or at least have something unique or along those lines, or just something worth downloading, you don't get the downloads anymore, you know. But there's only one Pan American engine that I actually have that I don't mind using, but it's this SD40 right here. It's all right. I think it's a little too bright blue for me. I think it's just too blue. I think everything's just too blue on it. You know, everything's blue, which I just don't think that's true to Pan American. I could be wrong. I just don't think everything's blue on it. But that's the only Pan American engine I have that has ever been made that actually still works. So, you know, definitely curious to see if anyone does it, or if anyone actually ever does make another Pan American engine or whatnot, because I know people that will download them. I know people that will download ex-Guilford and, you know, some good Guilford engines or the whatnot, so... You know, I'm not the only one that's out there that's looking for them. Alright, let's just see how that all works out. Oh, I didn't know that. See, this is why I stream, because I learn good, valuable tips from everyone. I can learn some good stuff. You know, otherwise that I would have never known. And those junctions might be a little too sharp. So hold down shift. Huh. Yeah, no, never knew. Never knew to hold down shift. Why don't you like me? Boy. I'm gonna drag you out a little further for you to work. Yes, sir. Yeah, 'cause that's always one big problem I've always had is, you know, when I'm building these tracks and they're all kind of right up against each other, it's like be just working with the track and all of a sudden I go to place a track and then, nope, I gotta get right down and personal with it because it doesn't want to work otherwise. I could probably get away with that. Alrighty, yeah, like I said, I'm here all day, I'm here all night, I'm here all day tomorrow. You know, like I said, no big rush on that, and I do appreciate all the hard work you've put into it, and it's definitely appreciate it, because you know, I've been asking around for a while, and you know, no one's really jumped to the request, but you know, it's not definitely a huge request. It's not something that, you know, people are going to get downloads from, or definitely have time for, because I mean, you know, if anyone's anyone, they want to make the Norfolk Southern, the CSX, you know, Union Pacific, or some heritage steam engines of some sort. So I get, it's not something top on everyone's list, but it helps me out because it allows me to start getting everything in place for that moment when I actually do finish this railroad, whenever that happens to be. I don't know when that's going to be, but like I said, I definitely appreciate the work you put into it, and I linked your page down in the the channel description or the video description, and mentioned you at the beginning of the video. So definitely getting you out there, trying to advertise for you, and kind of my way of saying thank you. So I figured at the absolute least that's what I could do. But like I said, I'm definitely curious to check out that Alabama route later. I think I have a bunch of CSX engines from from Jointed Rail. Not bad. I just don't have any of the cab views yet hooked up for it, so I don't think I have any good cab views for any of the Jointed Rail engines that I have, except for maybe like one or two. Yeah, it might be a little too shallow in those, or too tight in those corners again, so we'll drag these out. But no, as I was also saying, in the hopes of getting a new computer, hopes to maybe do some rail fanning videos. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna. I mean, with the releasing a route while it's still work in progress is always cool, because I guess in the sense, some people will download it and then they'll begin to edit it in the way they want it to be, and that's kind of the cool thing with, some routes is people will take them while they're still a work in progress and take whatever you've done, if it's a significant amount, and then just go from there and build their own route, which it's good and bad, depending on how you look at it. But I really don't want to release this route until I'm pretty much at a state where it's almost done, except for maybe a couple minor detailing things in terms of that, but otherwise pretty much done. And heck, and I might not release it until those minor detailing things are completed, just to say, hey, here's the first release. Don't plan on a second release because I'm pretty much done. I might release it at some point while it's still in work in progress. It's just I don't want to put something out there that I'm not done with, or remotely even close to being done with. But I guess it just depends on the community, what they're looking for, if they want it in its current state. It's just just for me, I just don't want to put something out that I'm not done with, because it's just not good in my mind. People will be like, I just don't want people to go, well, when are you going to finish it? Now that's out there, they're going to want it to be finished, and I just don't want people to be getting on me to just hurry up and finish it. I want to take my time and get it out when I feel that I'm okay to get it out. The only other problem with that is what happens if I wait too long to release it? Will people hold their interest in the route, and will they begin to become frustrated in the fact that I haven't put anything out yet? And these are just the thoughts of me. Someone very new to content creating and working on routes and whatnot. I'm very, very, very new to this, so. How big is the AS or A and SE? If I could even speak today. Well, I'll give it a try at some. I'll give it a try and see what I can't work out. And side note, here's another thing that I run into that always annoys me is this when I place a point like this and the ties just disappear, and I don't know why they do that. It kills me. But no, I'll still give it a try and see what I can't do. But yeah, maybe be a little wary of Someone was telling me about the speed trees. Now, I'm not very familiar with the speed trees, but they were telling me to, you know, because I'm using, let me see. So I'm not sure if I was using the speed trees, but if I recall correctly, I think I know what they are. But I was basically placing these, very 2D-ish looking trees, but they still look all right when they're in big groups. They very much give you that feel for, a main forest. Of course, if they would load their textures, but now I don't know specifically a speed tree, but I'm almost certain I know what it is. Possibly. I have to just find the right tree. Come out here to a less dense landscape and is it one of these? Is this a speed tree? Because I don't think it is. Kind of like move and sway in the breeze and whatnot. Yeah, no, I was using these, and I had the only part of the line that I had at the time that had speed trees at the time. And my game is only laggy right now because, or really laggy. It's never this laggy, but it's only because I'm live streaming. Was this little portion right here. Of course, it's now replaced, but this was the only bit on the whole line when I was first making it that had trees. It was just this little cluster, and I've replaced each speed tree with a, one of these trees, with the JVC trees or whatever the heck they are. And when I would look at it from about, per se, maybe here, and this is at the time where I didn't, I had just the church, I had maybe a couple buildings on this block, I didn't have any houses down here, I had maybe this little portion, minus the post office, this building on over, done. Nothing over there, nothing over there. I maybe had like that house and that house. Nothing back here. There were no buildings. It was just this church down in the corner, these buildings, not the post office, and then this building right here. Oh, and I think these buildings right here down to that building that's throwing out the smoke. And I had just the little group of speed trees right behind all these buildings, and my frames hit the tank. They just hit the tank. Like, it was miserable. Miserable. And I love the speed trees because they're so beautiful and they sway in the breeze and they change with the seasons. That's something I love is the fact that they, when you go to winter, leaves are bare. And when you go to spring, they have buds. And when you go to fall, they change, to yellow or red or whatnot. I love the speed trees. And I was using them in another line I was building, the Bunker Hill subdivision here in Illinois. But, yeah, so maybe I'll skip. I mean, I'm 30 miles of track, and I could probably go in and edit the trees, but I think I'll pass. It's just, I mean, does it run all right for you, or do you have issues? Because like I said, that's just one thing I know about the speed tree, is it kills. But it's I was gonna say, yeah, my Mac is weak in comparison. So yeah, I mean, you probably don't have much of an issue. It's just on my end, I'm gonna have issues because I'm all about that Mac life, bro. Yeah. No, I mean, I've been fairly blessed because, well, yes and no. I wouldn't say I've been blessed because I only got this laptop because my friend's dad. I've said this before. My friend's dad, who was like my dad, he passed away and left me this laptop. So, in a sense, I've been blessed because I technically got this laptop for free. It's, it came at the price of someone's life, which sucks because I loved him a lot. But, like I said, been fairly blessed in that sense because I know Macs are insanely expensive. They're not cheap. They really aren't all they're cracked up to be. 28 frames, damn. I mean, maybe when I get a stronger computer, I can maybe think about upgrading the line to speed trees, because that's what someone was saying in the Trainz forum post that I made. And I was like, oh, speed trees, thinking in the back of my head the word speed tree. But then I was watching one of Approach Medium's videos, and he was even complaining about the speed trees, how they look great, but they're so frame heavy. I mean, they just eat the frames for breakfast. I mean, it's just part of their balanced breakfast. They just eat your frames all day long. It's incredible, but it's just crazy to think even a powerful computer, that was built for, gaming in a sense, can only run 28 frames with the speed trees. I mean that come on, that's crazy. But just trying to edit this junction here. I think it's good enough. I know tracks generally aren't too straight in yards, from what my friend who worked in the railroad told me, so they're not incredibly straight and don't always have to be perfect like I sometimes try to make them, but I'm a little OCD sometimes. Alrighty. Move that up a little bit. So there's that. That's, like I said, alright. So that will lead into here. So that's some just tracks for engines to park along. Just to be there. Of course, now I gotta hook it up. Two base ports? Holy crap. Yeah, I mean, I like to think the trees that I'm using right now are pretty enough, and I want this route to run exceptionally well on all platforms, no matter what your specs are, So I mean, though the speed trees are beautiful, and like I said, they do change with the time of season, and they sway in the breeze and whatnot, which is what I like. I just think that sometimes you need to sacrifice a little bit to um, you need to sacrifice maybe the beauty of the speed trees for performance, so I can play it. If I can play it, I know definitely damn well that everyone else is going to be able to play it at a very good frame rate. But I just also think it's a pain in the butt with the speed trees sometimes, because they just, like I said, they're just so frame heavy, and they don't really, like I said, they look good, all that great stuff, but I mean, other than that, they really don't do much except just bog down your system. And I want, on my current state, I get okay frames. And when I get a new desktop, you know, I want to run pretty well. I want it to run pretty well. I'm not looking at something, 60 frames a second. If I get 60 frames a second, I'm going to have a amazing. I'm just going to feel great about myself. But I'm not expecting that. It's just, if I can get there, that's great. But I just don't think the speed trees are going to end up in the line. I just don't foresee that happening because of just how frame heavy they are. So, but that's just me. So. Hey, RMD 2023, welcome. And you're probably at the tail end. You'll probably have to rewatch it because it is 3:32 now, my time, and I am gonna have to get ready to go because, like I said, power steering pump on my car is going, and I intend to drive it to Kansas here pretty soon. So, and so if I'm going to Kansas, need to be able to steer. Just kind of a thought. So, but I do apologize. I will probably be streaming tomorrow, considering it is supposed to rain and whatnot. While my girlfriend is at work, I will more than likely stream. But actually, wait, I think we're going to. I can still stream. So I will more than likely stream tomorrow, and I should have something to show off to you guys tomorrow. A nice engine, a nice Carrabassett Valley painted engine to show off to you guys tomorrow, and having the route. So big thanks to Sean here. All right, man. Well, I will be here. If you need to get in touch with me, you can, like I said, send me another PM on the Trainz forums, or you can, like I said, I think my email's hooked up through my profile. So if you want to email me too, that's always there. However you feel like you want to get in touch, man, is all right with me. But thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. But I will finish laying these tracks down before I go. Pretty much today's episode, RMD. Yeah, we're both in Central RMD, so we're both Central Time. But pretty much today's episode consisted of redoing Flagstaff Yard. I had recently completed Flagstaff Yard, but just didn't like the way it looked, so I'm redoing it, trying to make it all fit into about this 4 little base plate area versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 base plates. Trying to shrink it down and not span, a half a mile or a mile and a half. I'm sorry. So it's pretty much, it looks like this. We got kind of the arrivals and departure tracks for staging trains. Kind of building them, taking them apart. We got our engine services facility right here. We got our main service facility. We got a couple of tracks for just engines to park along. We're going to have our service point. We're going to have a few more tracks for engines to kind of park along. And then we're going to have a car repair shop. We're going to have a maintenance away facility. So we'll have a little maintenance kind of area where all our Mo cars get parked. And then somewhere, I think back here, or maybe down back here, or somewhere over here, we're going to have a branch that leads off, and this is going to be the southernmost branch along the line that will lead towards lead into Eustis, to a couple of local industries, and then we'll come back to the yard. So, but we are pretty much at the southernmost point for this yard. But before I go RMD, I do want to just give you guys one more look at the train that Sean here was painting. Mr. Dean was painting for me. It is officially the official paint for the Carrabassett Valley Railroad. Like I said, he's brought my ideas to life. It was my idea, my choosing of the colors, and I did have something to do with the logo. Everything was straight out of my head. It's just I gave him a lot of creative freedom. Basically said, this is what I want to see. You can go ahead and pretty much do it however you want. But so that's pretty much it for the track building portion of this episode. I will go ahead and finish this up tonight and show you guys. But like I said, before I go, I will go ahead and show you guys. Actually, before I do that, Need to save over. Because this already crashed on me today, so we're going to save it. Wait for the railroad tracks to stop floating. There we go. All right, we will quit. So, as you probably saw, this is the logo for the Carrabassett Valley Railroad. So, and we have two phases. We have phase 1, which was, I think, made in 2013, or in theory, the 2013 version. But this is phase 1. He brought up the idea to me that we should have two kind of phases. This one's inspired by Milwaukee Road. Kind of get the feel for it now, and then I mentioned it. But this is what phase 1 is going to look like. And, of course, the logo again. And then phase 2, which is the current one, will look like this. Very heavily inspired a little bit by Central Maine and Quebec. But this is what the Carrabassett Valley's railroad is going to look like. This is the official. This is it. You know, this is what you guys will be able to download at some point and use, as well as some point download the line. And I'm thinking, I don't know when, but at some point I will release the line. I'm going to release it on my own website that I will link through my Trainz forum page, and of course my YouTube website. But everything will be for a separate download on my own page and whatnot. And of course, big thanks to Sean for bringing my idea to life. I mean, he really is. He is a part of the Carrabassett Valley Railroad, and I can't thank him enough for his hard work and everything that he's done to bring my idea to life. I mean, this is what I've dreamed of right here. I mean, this engine right here is so much more than I ever could have thought of. It is so beautiful, and he has done an amazing job, and he's taking on the whole fleet, essentially. I mean, next up, I think he said he's going to work on the SW1500s that we're going to have in the fleet, and then he's going to work on the U18s. I think he said we're not using any C30s anymore. We're replacing it with the GP38 that's Dave Snow made. So we're gonna have the GP38 instead. He said that he would work on that as well. And he's making every numbered engine. I mean, from I think it was 721 to 748. So he's making all, I think, 27 of these engines, just about. He's making all 27 of these for a separate download, you know, and that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing for me. I mean, you know, this is engine 731, and that'll be for download, and then he'll have engine 727, you know, and that'll all be for a download. And he'll do that, and he's going to do that for all the engines, you know, the MLW RS18. You know, he's never worked on it, but like I said, I mean, he's gonna weather these engines. You know, this one's gonna be not as weathered as, you know, phase 1. Phase 1's gonna look all weathered and grimy and gross and stuff. And I mean, he's just incredible work. And and I think he might tackle some rolling stock for the line too. But essentially, he's pretty much brought this railroad to life. I mean, I put the track down, but Sean is just as much as a part of this railroad as me. I mean, he's done more labor than I think I've done with the line, and I will never be able to thank him enough. I mean, please, he has an Alabama-based route. I think it's the Alabama and Southeastern on his website, which I've linked below. It's Trainz NS Rails. It's with a Z. I think I actually need to change the S in rail to a Z, maybe, but go check him out. He has some content that he made. It's not incredibly new. I was actually talking about I downloaded his gondolas, and that was the first car he ever made. But go support him. You know, go check out his stuff. Go check out his routes. I mean, just, you know, if he can do this and this, I mean, he's truly talented. I mean, he's got a real good talent. So, anyways, guys, that should conclude it for today. Expect another stream tomorrow. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Hope you all have a great evening, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys. See ya.